Welcome to Eat, Sleep, Nerd, a podcast where you can check out, go AFK, and relax with us as we discuss all things nerd. Comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and anything else that gets geeks more worked up than an insurance adjuster on a Tom Cruise film. In this episode, we review and discuss John Wick 4 and The Mandalorian Chapter 20. We round things out by checking in with the nerdy news to discuss an update on Zack Snyder's DC tease and is the MCU's Kang in trouble? Plus, Jason has a special surprise for us to celebrate episode number 50. I am your dorky DJ, Corey Winter, and as always, I am joined by my nerdy brother, Josh Winter, and our geeky friends, Jason Summer and Christian James.
55.
Nope.
Just 50.
Just 50.
What? And this didn't... Old internet meme. I wanted to say something.
What was it that you said again? I didn't even hear that.
55.
55. The old YouTube thing from
Oh,
way
wow.
back in the day.
Yeah. If you have some time, just type in
Okay,
55.
I'm going to have to look that one up. I don't have a clue what that is.
But speaking of YouTube, we're on YouTube.
Hello.
You
Hi,
can
everybody.
see our faces.
It's us, and we're so sorry.
We are so sorry. And I apologize in advance if anything just goes haywire, because obviously lots of new things are in play. But you can find us on YouTube if you're listening on podcast, www.youtube.com/@eatsleepnerd. And you can find the video version of this podcast episode. And that's going to come in handy for this one time only. We're going to be doing a little unboxing, as we were just talking about, because Jason got us some goodies.
We got a Jason haul.
We got oh, it's our first haul video.
I wanted to celebrate the 50th episode, and this has been a lot of fun. And I can't be there with you guys. If you noticed, I actually have a green screen up, and Corey's going to put some awesome picture behind me. But they're all in the same room, and I'm 500 miles away.
I will say I've never done green screen editing before, so you might just end up with the green screen. We'll find out. So,
I changed it to blue.
But also, if you are watching us for the first time, Jason who is above me right now. I'm pointing up. He is the person above us with the green screen. And then across the table, so to your left on the video, Christian is the one in sunglasses.
Yeah.
In the Stark room. And we have Josh with the backwards cap. So, yay!
Well, the other, there's also the beauty of video editing, Corey, and you can just put our names under our faces.
That's too much effort.
But,
We're keeping it simple over here.
Okay.
Maybe at episode 100, we'll try that. But I do want to say to all of our audio listeners, our goal going forward is to keep this both entertaining for audio only and for YouTube viewers. So if you're listening on podcast and you don't want to go watch us on YouTube, it's totally cool. We'll keep this fun just for audio people. But for this episode, just to celebrate, we're going to be doing some visual stuff. So if you want to get the full experience, go check us out on YouTube. What were you going to say, Christian?
I was going to say, if you're on audio, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
That's fair. That's fair. All right. So we actually are on a time crunch as well. But I just want to say, guys, congrats. Episode number 50. Woo. I didn't actually think we were going to get this far.
No, I had very low expectations for us sticking with it.
What episode did I come in on? Like 30 something?
30-ish, somewhere around there. It was November maybe? So he's been around about half of it.
It feels like you've been here forever.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was the piece that we never knew we needed.
And unfortunately, our timing was 1 week off. We have our 1 year anniversary next week. So episode number 51 is actually going to be our 1 year anniversary.
Wow.
So.
Oh, maybe we should just wait for the unboxing until next week.
No. All right. So you guys vamp. I'm going to go get some boxes. I hope I pick out the right ones to the right people. We actually have one each that Jason has gotten us. So chit chat. Go for it.
So for you audio listeners, we have one square box, another square box, and then a smaller square box. Does this mean?
I also want to say that we did not sign any liability waivers, and I'm giving you sharp objects. So I just want to put it out there. If you guys injure yourselves, I am not liable.
I mean, I've worked in the kitchen before, so I know how to not cut myself and also very much cut myself.
Well, you're also, past the age of, 18, 19. So
yeah, I feel
there's that.
responsible enough.
My box is huge.
Also, none of the makers or manufacturers of these products sponsored us. So we bought these.
Oh, well.
Right.
So we sponsored them.
Right.
Boom.
We're sponsoring them.
So do I open it now?
Open it.
I think we should
Open
do
it.
one at a time.
All right, Jessica.
I guess
Yeah,
I'll be able to.
No, I'm hoping I gave them the right boxes. I don't actually know. So
You'll know.
All right.
I think the way the size of the boxes look, they look right.
I'm trying to look back at our thread. Oh God, this is so dangerous.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's cutting towards himself. So there's that.
And Christian simultaneously.
Right.
Very much near my face.
We may just lose half of our team right now.
We'll be accepting Open application.
Yeah. So it's like a 7-inch by 8-inch by 8-inch box, something
Okay,
like
it's
that.
a box within a box.
Right.
Looks like Batman.
What's in the box?
You almost spilled the drink.
Oh, wow.
So Josh is the resident Batman fan.
Yes,
if you've been
of
with
course.
us,
I am the
Right.
resident Batman fan.
and he has this wonderful display behind him that's at his or near his office desk, and I figured he needed more stuff for it.
Oh, is that the Frank Miller Batman?
This one is technically the New 52,
Okay.
but it is the black and white statue.
Oh, that's so cool.
Hold it up to this camera over here. Yeah. I'll see if I can get a little zoom on that.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. All right. That might go in our studio. And speaking of studio, I'm sure somewhere in this final cut, I'll be putting in our overhead cam, which we do have going on. So you can actually see our studio for the first time. It's nice. Eat, Sleep, Nerd, red and black. We got a red wall. We got a black wall. We got a bunch of nerdy stuff around the room. You can probably see for the first time all of my Spider-Man Funko Pops up here in the shelf. We got a wall of nerdy things. We got Star Wars references, Star Trek references, superhero references, and obviously all of our mics and stuff. So hopefully you'll be seeing more of that in future videos. But we got Batman. Josh, you got Batman. That's pretty freaking
Batman.
cool.
Yeah.
That will definitely be going here in this.
Thank
first
you,
one, I think.
Jason. Yeah, it will
Oh,
live
you're
here
very welcome.
because my children will break it. But but yes, it will live here. And I'm very
How
excited.
heavy is it? Heavy? Is it
It has a respectable weight.
nice? Okay, good.
If I had
These-
to use a standardized unit of a measurement, I would say it is roughly 1/2 of a baby.
I was going to say, is it like 5 hamburgers or what?
Yeah.
One
Half a baby.
Like, how old is this baby?
Right. Yeah.
Infant.
Go ahead and
Okay.
those scissors.
So, like 4 pounds?
Christian, you go.
So that'd be a
next.
quarter pounder.
A McBaby.
That's no. Just disturbing. So Christian's opening his box now.
Okay.
Thank you, narrator. Yes.
Yes, this is for all of the audio
I gotta
people
be
out
close
there,
to
audio
blade back.
listeners. Yes.
Be
We just talked
responsible.
about that. Yeah.
He had picked up the box cutter and put it down. He's like, no, I'm good.
Let's see what this is. Lots of paper. Lots of paper.
Lots of paper.
Ooh, I see a DC.
Yep.
Okay. Ooh. Look at that.
What is it? What is it?
Big old lantern.
Oh,
It's a green. It's a
green
green
lantern.
it's a
lantern.
Green Lantern.
As there are several cores.
Hey, yeah. What's
Oh
in the
my
box?
God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's pretty dope, actually.
Oh, wow.
Hold it
So
up to the
speaking
camera.
of several cores,
Several cores.
as one of
Has-
the rings for each of the
Each of the
Holy
core. Yeah, look at that. That's
I
fancy.
hope the camera's getting that. And for our listeners and watchers,
we'll do
these are-
some
These are not the best cameras in the world. We're figuring we'll upgrade at some point, but
Yeah, only episode 50.
Yeah.
Give us a chance.
hopefully soon we'll have something better for you. But hopefully that just picked up what he was showing us. It's all the rings for the Green Lanterns.
we'll do some glamour shots to tag in right at the end.
Oh, yeah. What do the kids say nowadays? Nito burrito?
That's not it.
Nobody ever says that.
No, at least I hope not.
No, I'm
I
kidding.
don't know. That's super cool.
Dang.
That's awesome, Jason.
I'm feeling
Yeah.
really bad that Jason doesn't have anything to open from us now.
Oh, yeah.
You
So
know what?
we're
This
all
is
gonna-
my joy.
We're all gonna
This
send
is my
Jason
joy.
something, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Stay
enjoying
tuned for
this.
episode 51, where Jason opens his present.
Yeah. All right, so I'll open mine now. I've already got mine cut open.
So when Christian first joined us, I asked what his favorite superhero was, and he said he was a big Green Lantern fan.
You're such a good listener.
So, right. I try.
So I have a
And
box
then, of
within a
course-
box.
Oh,
And then, of
box
course-
within a box.
Corey,
All right.
based on his
Don't-
Funko Pops, likes the Star. Not the Star. What the heck am I talking about? The Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Spooderman.
Spider Pig.
All right, it
Yep.
is a Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
It's a Funko.
it is a Funko. It's a Spider-Man Funko. What is it exactly, though? It is.
Number 5.
Thank you. It is a whole display. I'll hold this up for my camera, I guess.
Oh, nice.
It is a whole like comic book background display. It's actually pretty heavy too. Like this is solid. It is the comic book background of the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man issue. Wow.
Is that the first Spider-Man?
It's not the first,
appearance?
but it's definitely one of the
Okay.
early editions. Yes.
Okay.
But dang, this is cool. And it's actually not one of the figures I have, so it's actually a good addition to my collection.
Yeah, I was just fully expecting you to be like, yeah, have it.
No. Dang,
I
Jason.
knew that was a risk.
This is so cool. That'll go right front and center on my shelf.
Right.
Well, thank you, Jason.
Yeah. Well, happy 50th episode, guys.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, now I feel like we need to get like Henry Cavill's signature or something for you.
Nah.
Oh,
Yeah. But thanks. I mean, I'll take it.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll try to make that happen.
No.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Boys, for our first time on video, do you want to get into the nerdy news?
Shaw.
Hit it.
All right, let's get into the nerdy news. Woohoo! That's- I can't even cut that. So, we're going to be talking about two things to keep this segment short today. And the first is just a quick update on the Zack Snyder DC tease that we talked about last week, where he was teasing something about Darkseid, and it was happening in April. It's going to be over a 3-day thing. And we thought it was, maybe some kind of Snyder cut thing or
I did not.
something. Jason did not. Well, we officially have confirmation on what that was, and Josh hit the nail on the head with his prediction about what it could possibly be. Zack Snyder has announced a 3-day celebration of his DC trilogy, consisting of Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Justice League, which will be held in April, with all proceeds going to charity. Taking place from April 28th to April 30th, the Full Circle event will be held in support of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Snyder himself will host the weekend of screenings in honor of his daughter, Autumn Snyder, who passed away at the age of 20. The director's cut of each film will be shown before Snyder participates in a Q&A with special guests that will be live streamed as well. And obviously, this is just saying this is the confirmation of what he was tweeting about last week. So obviously, it's not a fourth movie announcement or anything of that sort. So, Josh, you called that one.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, this is fun. It's one of those things that I'd kind of like to go to if I just didn't have anything else to do. But
Right.
it is
Same.
it's also kind of disappointing. Like that's, and I just feel like that's just bad publicist decisions.
Like, yeah, whoever,
Like
maybe if it wasn't him that made that tweet, if it was like one of his publicists, they had to have known that
was
would
going
have
to get
stirred
people.
the pot.
Yeah, that was going to get people crunk, and it's just that's the kind of thing you just need to be upfront. But hey, guys, this weekend I'm doing a thing. It'd mean a lot if you came out. Blah 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 blah. Don't. That's one of those things that doesn't need to be a teased event.
Yeah,
like I think that was a poor decision. Even though I was just kind of like, I mean, it's not going to be a fourth movie or anything. It's just, I would have. Yeah, it's kind of like we talked about with the James Gunn Superman, all that stuff. At what point do you just start announcing stuff instead of teasing everything and making everything secretive? Just announce stuff.
Yeah, just let us know.
Just tell us what's happening.
Yeah,
it'd be so much better than the conjecture that people stir up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm excited. That's one of the few foundations that I actually think does what they're supposed to do. One of the few charities that's actually good to donate to. So that's exciting. But yeah, I just
Yeah, I was going to say that on the flip side of that, it is an important event for the charity. And Corey, are we able to put a link in this episode somewhere, or
Yes,
in the comments or something?
Yes,
that people can go to.
So Zack Snyder has tweeted saying that he is very grateful for the amazing support from everyone for this event, and it's actually sold out in minutes. So
That's
I guess
awesome.
That's
we're
fantastic.
very excited about this. So I mean, all things told, we're getting a little. What do you put? A little pin in it for his little trilogy.
Yeah.
So also though, the images that he put out for this event, it's using the Superman statue from Batman vs Superman.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
From that little like park, but the hand, like, so it's like when Superman's like posed, he's like in that little like kneel down crouch, and like he has one hand up in the air.
Yeah.
In the movie, it's his fist is like, it's not really a fist. It's like his hand is open, kind of like he's cupping something.
Mhm.
But in the picture he's put out, it's actually like giving a high five. Is he teasing something?
No,
He might be teasing.
There's no
something.
teasing. Stop it.
Why would he change the
we're-
pose of the figure?
to make it
Because
cool?
he could.
Well, I was thinking earlier that maybe, just maybe, he's got this 3-day event going, and the whole dark side tease was he does have a surprise at the end of it, maybe, and that I can kind of see.
No.
So people have been speculating his original idea was 5 movies. And so this
The
Superman
hand is up
poster-
and it's got 5.
Oh, okay.
So
man.
I don't know.
Internet needs to quit internet.
I don't want to put too much weight on that, but there could be
There's some
something.
like Sherlock Holmes investigators on this thing.
All
That's
right,
pretty good though.
let's move into one more story to wrap up our news section. All right, obviously the big news coming out this week was that Jonathan Majors was arrested for assault in New York City. We won't go into the details of what happened, but obviously this does potentially have a big ol' impact potentially on future Marvel appearances, because obviously Disney does not want to work with potentially, what do you say? Like,
Well, they don't want anything to mar their image.
That's
is what
it,
it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Disney's image. Yeah, they're like, if there's a whiff that you could mar their image, they're going to disassociate as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Well, Disney does that by themselves anyway.
Well, see, now that's an interesting point, though. Have we ever had someone that they had to fire and or distance themselves from in the MCU?
so the only person coming to mind was actually just RDJ, but that was prior to his Iron Man time,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he had to clean his act up.
the entire time that he's been in the MCU, he's been clean.
I can't think of anyone during their Marvel role got into personal issues.
There was
The worst that we've had is just like intercast issues with each other.
Yeah.
But that's more like working stuff, like nothing hostile or.
I was going to say Brie Larson.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Well,
that's,
That was more
referring
like
to.
she just said something stupid.
that's just political stuff. Like, I mean, that is what it is. Obviously, DC's been dealing with that with Ezra Miller.
See, I was
Yeah.
going to say the one that keeps coming to mind isn't Disney. It's Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So,
So this might be like a precedent-setting event for Disney.
And again, maybe nothing
as they move
happens.
forward dealing with it.
Yeah, like maybe nothing happens. Maybe
Yeah.
we find out in a day or two
Right.
this was a misunderstanding or whatever.
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, he was arrested, but he has been released, and it could prove that he is innocent. We don't know.
Because you got to remember, anytime there's a domestic situation,
In
someone's going to jail.
In most states, someone has to go to jail.
Yes.
So seems
I'm not-
like a nice dude. Maybe he's just like, I'll go. You know what? Like, we're not even gonna make me do it. Just, I'll go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But the question becomes, if they did have to let him go,
Yeah.
what happens to Kang?
So yeah, I mean, obviously, King has been promoted as the big baddie of this saga, like the entire saga. of
Not just this
MCU.
phase, this
They
saga.
will have to recast Kang. They have to. Because their entire next phase is built off of it.
Yeah, I mean, they
Would
have,
that
If they let him go.
they have an entire movie labeled "The King Dynasty." Like, that's the
which
big
is-
next Avengers movie.
Which is kind of tricky. If Loki season 2 wasn't coming out this year, then
Which he's supposed to be in.
which he's supposed to be in, which would probably make it a little bit easier if they had to recast immediately. But like, if there's something on down the road that has him
See,
locked up,
because I was gonna say that because of the nature of the story, it being multiversal, they've got their setup where they could very easily say, well, that's just what that Kang looked like. Except the end of Quantumania.
Right. I was thinking exactly that.
Made it very clear that every Kang looks the exact same.
Maybe they just don't use those ones we saw. Like,
what happened to all those Kangs? Oh, they died.
Yeah,
the thousands
every one
of them. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but then you have those other, I guess, variants like what's his name, the Storm Kid, Iron Lad, different looking, and then you have another Kang. He's supposed to look way different. Because he's like some kind of other different variant, something like that. So that could like work out, but I don't think that's the direction they want to go.
Why does this Kang look different? He's the Kangest of the Kangs.
So it's sounding like we're saying there is no possible way to get away from the Kang storyline. So you guys are saying
at this point, it
has to be a recast.
It has to be something like that.
Okay, so if you're recasting, who do you recast with?
Denzel.
Denzel.
Yeah, excuse me, Denzel, as we've established.
Okay.
No, I mean that's the answer, Denzel.
Maybe.
Morgan
Freeman.
Morgan.
I mean, he's already played God, you know.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
One?
No, really, like Denzel is my actual answer, though.
Denzel.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't picture it.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you can.
You can?
Yeah, you can.
Huh.
I'm Kang Kong.
Training day.
Yes, we got that. But then again, just to reinforce, like there is no hint of him being recast at this point, so this could just be a conversation for no reason.
This was a mind exercise. Yes. What could happen?
Yeah, a thought experience.
Because this has never happened before. Not with the MCU.
Yeah,
and even in the WB, apparently we're just cool with it. Just keep going.
Yeah.
The movie might make a ton of money, and it's fine.
Well, the thing is, they could do the DC thing and just keep pushing Kang Dynasty until people forget about it.
All press is good press.
Well, besides the MCU aspect of this, I don't know if you guys saw it, but at the in the trailers for John Wick this weekend, they had a big old army commercial.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
with old
and
Jonathan.
It was. Yeah, with Jonathan Majors was the host for the commercial. And it was a really good commercial. It's probably one of their better ones I've seen in a very long time. It looked pretty badass. And then as I'm driving home, I hear this this news information about him. And I'm like, the Army's going to be pulling that one. And they did.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did? Wow.
Yeah. They said until the investigation is over,
right,
that advertisement campaign will be paused.
Also, why are we advertising for the Army? It's like advertising.
They've always
toilet
advertised.
paper.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Be all you can be.
But why?
It's actually like advertising
because China and Russia are being uppity, Christian. Okay, it's the real answer.
All I'm seeing is my tax money on my movie screen.
Maybe he did it pro bono.
Maybe.
We don't know. Maybe.
But anyway, so that's Jonathan Majors. All right, let's get into our spoiler review section, where we are talking about The Mandalorian Chapter 20, called The Foundling, and John Wick Chapter 4. Woo! All right, let's start with The Mandalorian Chapter 20, The Foundling. So, what happened? I'm not good at summing things up, I've decided. So you guys are in charge of that now.
So we see Grogu trying to get his Mando training in.
Okay, let's actually just stop there. So, did anyone ask Grogu if he actually wanted to be a Mandalorian?
Well, I think it was assumed.
He made the choice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like anything Star Wars. You're forced into it. No pun intended.
Pun slightly intended.
I see what you did there.
Also, his cuteness in this episode was like maxed out. Like his eyes were just on display as big as possible.
You know,
and his little walking.
Yeah, his little scoot.
Yeah, they're pushing the limits of that puppet.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the commitment to the puppet.
Throughout the whole episode, I was just like, "Ooh, that action's cool." Oh, look at him! Look, he's moving around.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a Grogu tangent. What else?
Also, after the paintballing that they're playing,
paintball.
I now want a paintball helmet that looks like a Mandalorian helmet.
Oh, that would be sick.
Right?
You wouldn't be able to see crap.
But I'd look badass while getting shot.
So Grogu got in a little challenge with one of the other younglings, and that kid immediately got dragon napped.
Yeah, didn't they learn from the last episode? Stay away from the water.
You're right.
Well, first off, this just seems to be a hostile place in general.
Yeah, also,
like,
they keep saying, oh, this has happened before. He always gets away. Move! Like, how you gonna keep letting this happen?
Yeah.
And he gets away every time? Go somewhere else.
Maybe we have someone on watch.
Yeah.
Like, there feel like there's some things we could do, you know?
Dinosaur wings coming in.
Yeah, like just everyone get inside the giant cave.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably something huge down in the cave we don't know about yet either. Oh, we don't go to the back end of the cave.
It's
Why?
because of all those large, dangerous creatures that the Mandalorian covert is there, because nobody will bother them for the most part.
That checks out.
Yeah.
So,
No one wants to mess with the giant crocodiles and dragons and...
You're right.
Anywho.
So...
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happened in this episode. I was just like, that's funny that happened.
So kid gets dragon napped.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And old Bo-Katan jumps into action, chases it down from a high altitude, learns where the nest is, and they go to get the kid. Really, it was not a Din Djarin episode.
It was not, and I think that's actually reinforcing my desire that Bo-Katan is actually the co-lead now. I think she's sticking around for like.
Is next season going to be called The Mandalorians?
That'd be kind of cool.
They just do like an alien thing with it,
or maybe just Mandalorian. Just take the out.
Plural. But yeah, I mean, I'd 1,000% be on board with this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Like, it's a good character. There are other Mandalorian characters from the cartoons that they could still bring in, which would make it even more fun. So if this was like Dave Filoni's sneaky way of doing a live action version of the cartoon that he made, that'd be amazing. It just, it was a slow burn. We just eased it in over 3 years.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm okay with it.
So I do want to go ahead and talk about the subplot or the detour plot of this episode, with Grogu having little flashbacks to Order 66.
Order 66.
And I never get tired of seeing that whole area.
And they know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they keep giving it to us. We can't do a single piece of media without a flashback to
Order
the
66.
Purge. Yeah.
Right.
But the cool thing, and maybe you guys have seen this already, but the actor that played the Jedi that rescued Grogu, Ahmad Best, is most famous for playing
Jar
Jar. So he's finally getting his redemption because he kind of got blacklisted from Hollywood for that role.
I mean, actually contemplated suicide.
Yeah.
Like, it got dark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that was rough.
He was
time.
just like, I just wanted to check, y'all. Y'all calm down.
And let's not forget, dude did a good job.
He did.
He sold it. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. It's just that what they wanted him to do was stupid. But that's not his fault.
He sold toys. That's what
he sold the toys.
He sold the toys.
I'm still trying to figure out what the heck they were thinking with Jar Jar. But whatever.
Toys. Toys.
Still,
and unforgettable lines.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so he got his redemption.
Yeah, he was great. He was awesome.
The Jedi that saved Grogu, dual wielding lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's they didn't just make him a Jedi; they made him a badass Jedi.
And they made it, and they let him survive.
Yeah, like this dude can come back.
Yeah, he's gonna have an arc still. I think
so. Yeah, they wouldn't put that. Yeah, that's another thing. We've had 2 episodes back to back that have had subplots that don't tie into really the story of the main plot. So obviously last episode we had the scientist subplot, which didn't tie into what was happening with the Mandalorian. It will probably come back around. So yet again, like what you're saying with this episode, they put this plot in there for a reason. So you have to think he's probably going to come back around at some point.
And who are his friends?
I thought his...
those are the Naboo...
I thought they were
those are the Naboo security soldiers.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to be
Maybe it's deeper than that.
Yeah.
No. Well, no.
Because I mean, like the ship that they flew away on kind of looked like Padme's.
Right. Yeah.
It was made by the same folks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This it was like Boeing, but both made by Boeing or McDonnell Douglas or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What else happened? So that little foundling got threw up by a dragon. That was disgusting.
Let's rewind just a tad.
Okay.
When they're climbing up the cliff side. Why didn't Homie just leave his Gatling gun on the ground?
What?
Ends up being the little boy's father.
Yes.
Why is he still wearing this big ass Gatling gun on his back?
It's his primary weapon.
Yeah, and
he had to level up a lot to use.
I get it. He's a huge man, but some things are just meant to be left behind when you're climbing a rock face.
Maybe it's really hard to take off.
Yeah, I mean, like it's fed into the backpack, so I mean, there's a lot going on there.
I imagine you just like unhook the chains and just.
You have never worn Mandalorian armor. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
But it feels like there should just be a button.
Yeah, just a release valve.
Have you asked the Mandalorian about how difficult this is to take off their armor? I mean, do you even know?
You don't know their life.
You're making so many assumptions right now.
Yeah, and speaking of not knowing their life, I thought it was interesting when they like were setting up camp and they were just like, yeah, you just go somewhere to take off your helmet to eat. I'm like,
I'm glad they finally addressed that because I've been so curious how they eat together.
It is kind of like they slid that in there. Yeah. Like, oh, okay, cool. No.
But in that same scene, old Bo gets to stay behind at the campfire and eat because she is the war party leader.
Yeah.
And I love how completely on board they are with her being part of the crew now.
Yeah.
Like just, well, you did the thing you were supposed to do. You're good. I will do whatever you tell me to do.
And just
I'll fall in line.
And I was just going to say, maybe this is your thought too, but it seems like she's happy to be a part of this group. And I think it's maybe because she's been feeling alone. And so like she was reluctant at first, but now she's liking that she's being accepted. You don't agree?
I'm skeptical.
Okay.
I think she's smart and I think she's a survivor and she's trying to hold on to her position as best as she can. And I'm wondering
when she's going to take the money and run.
Well, no. I'm wondering if she's taking steps to intentionally secure her role as a leader rather than trying to be altruistic in her actions.
Oh,
I'm wondering if she's, so I'm skeptical when she was, jumping to lead the party right off the bat. I'm like, she has some plans.
She's just a natural leader.
Maybe.
I don't think it's nefarious.
And she naturally found an army.
Yeah,
and that she's going to naturally take back to Mandalore.
Exactly.
Yeah. And naturally
she's the only one who's she's the only one who's seen the mythosaur, so she kind of has that on her side if people believe her.
So that did come back up at the end of the episode.
Yes, it did.
And the armorer was, I guess,
more or less on board.
Kind of on board, but also kind of maybe second guessing her. I don't know.
Are you sure that's what you saw? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find that interesting how she was kind of just like playing it off. She was like, "Oh, you saw what? Cool. You're supposed to. It's a thing that we do. We see that. If you're
no, but like I saw one.
And then she was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, sure, you did. It's the way.
Sure, you did,
it's
sweetie.
The way.
Sure. Take your armor and go."
But speaking of nefarious, that maybe my ears turn up a little bit, and I'm like, there's something that she's leaving out, and she just doesn't want to answer.
Well, the armorer is kind of the de facto leader right now.
Yeah.
Maybe the armorer doesn't want to quit being the leader because she senses that Bo-Katan could be usurping her position of authority.
I kind of look at the armorer as more like the town or the tribe shaman.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, de facto leader by when there's not one, but more actually like the shaman or the wise person for the party.
And like the tribe grandma.
Yes.
She's always just like, hey, let me make this something for you. You want to help me? Oh yeah, let me make that for you. She just
instead of cherry pie, it's a shoulder arm plate.
Yeah. Or a gigantic chest plate for Grogu.
Right.
Which was so cute.
It was adorable.
I can't wait till
you
gets
will
his
grow
helmet.
into this.
Oh, all right. So, in the interest of time, let's wrap this up. So, for what is this, episode 4 or 5 now of this season?
4.
It's chapter 20. So, who knows how many? I guess it's 4 because we were scoring it episodically. So, yeah, I guess this is episode 4. Sure. I assume it's 4. So, we're, as a reminder, we're doing this episodically. So, we're going to score this episode alone and then factor it all together to give us an average score for the season so far. So, for chapter 20, The Foundling, how are we feeling? Who's going first, Christian?
The first score on video.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. Don't mess it up.
I know why. And nothing really changed in this episode that would make me change my score from a 4. I mean, I liked it. There was like some interesting elements, some speculations. But I would just like to see a little bit more.
All right. So Christian has been scoring at 4s across the board this season so far. So he's sticking with the 4. Obviously, that averages to a 4. So I'll go next. I've been giving this season a little bit lower scores than I have in the past couple seasons. But I really liked this episode. I liked the Grogu Order 66 backstory. I like seeing some Jedis. I like seeing some Mandos battling a dragon. So, and the cuteness of Grogu was back. So I'm giving this a 5. It's a solid episode. It was short. It was a 31-minute long episode, but
that was a short episode.
It was working for me. I liked it. So let's go Josh next.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a good episode. I had a good time. At the same time, I feel like this season very much needs to figure out what this season is going to be about. I feel like it's kind of stalling time. It's with entertaining stories, but big picture, not a lot has happened yet. So I am giving it 4 Jedi Purge flashbacks out of 5.
And then Jason, bring us home.
I'm kind of in line with Christian's notice that some of the plot points were a little contrived or convenient, and that kind of stood out for me. So I'm going to give this one a 4.5, because otherwise it was pretty good, but I was like, that seemed a little convenient on a couple times.
Yeah. So still a pretty strong episode. Looks like 4, 4.5, 5, and a 4. So for season 3 so far, after 4 episodes, we're giving it a 4.3 out of 5. So we have a few more episodes
left. Still a solid show.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Pew Pew. John Wick Chapter 4.
John Wick.
So
are we supposed to watch that this weekend? Because I got tickets for next week.
I know he's joking because he already told me he watched it, but so as a reminder, big old spoilers for this section.
Spoiler review.
Like,
cannot stress this enough.
So
like
you're
Fast
giving
and the Furious
you're getting like 5 more seconds to stop now if you have not seen it and don't want spoilers, because there are some big spoilers for this movie.
Huge.
5.
Huge.
Big,
4.
large.
3.
Heartbreaking spoilers.
2.
Massive spoilers.
1.
Yes.
He died.
He died.
Wow. Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
first off, that'll teach you to take our warning seriously. But yeah, he dead.
He dead.
He dead.
Now, is he really dead? Because the only reason I ask, because the movie itself did not tease that he was still alive. But he has said recently that he'll keep making John Wick movies until we stop seeing them.
There was even an interview like yesterday or something where they told him, like, there's a big poll where they asked the audience, do you really think John Wick is dead? And everyone basically said, yeah, like, it seems like he's dead. Even he was just like, oh man, really? So
But I feel like it was kind of like a Nick Fury death. You didn't see it.
Yeah, we saw him fall over.
We saw him fall over. Didn't get to see him getting buried.
We didn't actually see his heart stop or anything.
He mentioned what he wanted it on his tombstone, but
the grave could be empty.
It could be empty.
So here's setting that aside. Let's work with the assumption that he is dead, because that could be a thought experiment that we take forever and ever and ever. Jason, do you feel like they stuck the landing?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. I do. I was like,
finally, someone's dead.
And I really didn't know. Okay, there's a duel, an old-fashioned, old pistol duel in this movie, and I really had no clue how they was going to end.
Yeah,
and I liked that.
See, that's what I was going to say.
Like, go
I was surprised.
A zillion different ways.
Yeah, like I was surprised by his death. Like I didn't think they would do it.
Yeah.
And so, especially since they keep saying, we'll make as many as people want to see. We'll make as many as people want to see.
And they originally announced, I don't know if they've actually stuck with this production schedule or not, but when it was originally announced that John Wick 4 was happening, they said they were filming John Wick 4 and 5 back to back. I don't know if they're still doing that.
Maybe they consolidated them, because it is a 3-hour movie. There's never been a 3-hour John Wick before.
Yeah, this was a very long movie.
It was a very long movie.
With the exception of a few moments, though, it didn't feel bloated, though. Like, it was pretty lean 2 hours, 45 minutes.
The first, hour of it, not a lot of action happened. It was just a whole lot of, like Christian was saying, plot setup.
Yeah.
And a lot of that felt like it could have been cut down a little bit. Like, don't cut any scenes, just make the scenes shorter. I feel like that could have helped a lot.
More trimming than cutting.
Yeah.
Like, there was one scene where the manager, I forget his actual name.
Winston.
He, like, is walking through the museum to meet
it was such a long walk. I remember thinking that
he just kept walking.
But here's the thing, though.
Like, it was cool.
Ian McShane, which is his name, by the way, is just the coolest dude on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
And like, I really could watch that dude walk for like 2 to 3 minutes. Like, just looking slick.
Yeah. I think they're also trying to show just how opulent the Marquis had been living.
Yeah.
And, he's like, my meeting hall is this giant museum looking hall, and, with these giant pictures that are 20 feet tall.
Yeah, those things are huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. I think they were trying to, yes, that. Anyway, that was, all the set pieces I think were deliberate in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
And so magnificent. Everything about the John Wick movies.
They were very stylized.
It's just style.
Yeah.
Everything about it. And I love it. I am here for it. It is the most surface-focused movie ever. I mean that in a good way.
The intro of John Wick was a beautiful introduction.
It was.
He was standing on the top of the roof with a pink cherry blossom tree, cherry tree or lotus.
Yeah.
I think cherry. And then his face was lit up in the same color. This dark pink or nearly red. And I was like, this is a beautiful shot. And he's standing right next to the tree. It was gorgeous.
Yeah. In my opinion, for this movie, just seeing Chapter 4, John Wick is officially a superhero.
Right?
Because
I might as well be.
A lot of the things that were happening in this movie, I'm like, okay,
you'd be dead.
You'd be severely injured. Like, throughout the other John Wick movies, he'll be shot through the gut and it's just be hobbling along, and he looks like he's struggling. Your boy fell out of a 3rd-story window
onto a van,
sort of on a van, and hit cobblestone.
That's a theme in the John Wick movies, though. If you hit enough things on the way down, that means it doesn't hurt when you get to, or it doesn't
slows
kill
your
you.
roll.
Yeah,
and who knows if he's actually feeling anything at all by now.
Yeah, I actually have a theory that John Wick's nerves are all dead.
Just dead.
Like, his spine has just been banged up too many times. He just doesn't feel things anymore.
So I do want to note, we had Andre on this podcast a couple episodes ago, and he wanted to come back for John Wick 4. Obviously, he was not here today because we have a weird recording schedule. But he wanted me to let you guys know he was okay with the film. But the reason he's always loved them is because he loves how realistic the gunplay is. And he says in this movie, it was not as on point as it was in past movies. There was a lot of mistakes that he noticed, especially during the staircase scene when John was using one of the guns. He never reloaded, which is something that they're usually pretty good about
because he's a superhero.
I was thinking that specifically during the staircase one, which I don't think he still had the Pit Viper. Pit Viper holds 21 rounds. So it would make sense that he reloads less. But I'm pretty sure he wasn't using that weapon at that point anymore. I think he'd lost it by then.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But it's here's the way I see it. First off, traditionally the movies have been really, really, really good about it. So if it took 4 movies for us to get to a point where we were just like, shouldn't it be reloaded by now?
Yeah.
Like, that's not bad. And secondly, inherently, the case with sequels is you have to go bigger, you have to go harder, you have to go faster, you have to go. If you're not constantly raising the ridiculousness of it, it quits being interesting. So I think when you marry those two things together, I will forgive exactly one scene.
Yeah.
Where he did not. Now, that being said, they did make something that I never wanted to see in film again cool. And that's the one shot.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the one shot in that giant, you could tell they just built a huge set of like 18 connected rooms. And it's where he has the dragon's breath.
Yeah. Oh, the overhead shot?
And the camera just goes up and over the whole thing.
That was really some fantastic work.
Like, seriously, like just to everyone involved in making that happen. Good God. That was ridiculous. So, yeah, I had swore up and down, like, from now on, any movie that used a one shot needlessly was going to get like an automatic 1 point deduction from me. No, this one, it went the other way. Like, I'm adding a point back on just because that was the perfect time and perfect way to use a one shot.
All right.
Because that was amazing.
Yeah, it's just the top-down view made it even more suspenseful for me. Because you could see him working his way through the rooms, but then also see more characters he didn't know about.
Yeah.
See, and that's what I was going to say. That goes back to the choreography. Because, you would see people he didn't know was there yet. Yeah. And then you see him react. You can go back around the other. Like.
On top of that choreography, my boy, Donnie Yen.
Yeah. Good to see him doing stuff.
Kane. Yeah.
He came back from, what was it? Rogue One. There we go.
Yeah.
Just
this
like
is the second time he's played a blind man.
Yeah, I was about to say he's just going to be a blind man that will kick ass the entire time, and I love. And I speak about like the choreography though. He made himself so believable.
Yeah, that
he was blind.
Yeah,
and the way that they did his choreography throughout every fight just seemed so seamless. And I was like, okay, he's actually having to use certain things to move around, but he's so good at his martial arts that it just comes out like butter.
They made it believable enough.
Yes.
Yep.
I love
Again, these movies rely strongly on suspension of disbelief. Strongly on suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
But they do go out of their way just enough to make it make sense for their world, which is what we've talked about before. Doesn't have to make sense in our world. The logic
of the universe.
Correct. Doesn't have to make sense for us. It has to make sense for them. And for the most part, they've stuck to that. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's a 3-hour movie. I could talk about it for 3 hours easily.
I do want to talk about Lance Reddick because he passed away a few weeks ago, and he was in this movie. And
he died in this movie.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to see much of him.
Early on.
But what we did get to see of him was nice. It's unfortunate he won't be in future movies or even more in this movie. So
yeah,
but nice to see him again. What else? I guess we can go ahead and wrap this up in the interest of time. But anything noteworthy we have not talked about yet?
Okay, so the Arc de whatever, where they're in Paris by the Arc, I forget what they call it.
Where
the roundabout,
the roundabout.
Oh, the roundabout,
yes.
the car scene. Yeah,
seeing someone get hit by a car is jarring, but seeing that 20 times, oh my God. I was like, are we done yet? Like,
So no, one of the most fascinating things about the John Wick universe is how very much people do not let this abhorrent violence stop them from going about their day.
Yeah.
So like in real life, as soon as the second person got hit by a car, that the traffic would have stopped.
Yes.
But no, these people keep going. In the club, right around the time the 18th person gets shot in the face.
So in the club, people were reacting to it.
And then kept dancing.
Yeah.
And then went back to dancing.
Like they were like, I was watching it. I wanted to see how much they would react to people literally getting hit over the head with an axe. They were like cowering and stuff and like hugging each other.
And then they just
they didn't leave
back into it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it goes even further. Like in the second chapter, when he's going throughout the entire city just fighting people nonstop because they're all trying to kill him, no one in the background ever reacts.
I did see a couple people running away right at the beginning of the car scene.
Yeah, so I mean, like you get what I mean. It's almost become a staple of the universe, and it's kind of the point where I almost wonder if it's a statement on how, as a society, we're becoming good. Oh, I took Jason's point. Sorry.
Yeah, you interrupted him and then you stole his point.
Yeah, that's right. That's double rude, actually.
No, that is a good point, though. I have thought about that. And
Jason just turns off his camera.
Do we know a body count for this movie?
No.
I'd be very interested to see how many people just
die. I want the series body count.
Yeah, I think there is a body count somewhere. And then we had a post-credit scene.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know there was going to be a post-credit scene. Nobody told me this.
I'd argue it wasn't worth waiting for.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Well, I think it's kind of possibly teasing, if John Wick really is dead, that she might take over as the main lead.
So the spoiler teaser, Jason, is it after all of the credits, which were needlessly long, Donnie Yen Kane goes to meet his daughter, and as he's walking up to her, old what's-her-face from Japan is coming the other way, and she takes out a knife.
Then it cuts to black.
Kind of looks like a box cutter.
Yeah.
So the implication being that she is going to begin her revenge spree. And which is what which was the last point I was gonna say. If John Wick is dead, I do not want this to be the end of the John Wick universe, because they have so many cool characters left that they could do other stuff with. And
her name was Akira.
Yeah, right? Akira. Yeah.
Then Nobody.
Yeah.
He'd be.
Yeah, Nobody
would
be
be a
cool.
story.
Nobody would be good. We're getting the prequel series about young Winston and the Continental. I think that takes place in the 70s.
I believe that was actually canceled recently.
No.
There was something John Wick spinoff that was canceled recently.
No, I mean, it was like everything I was reading today was talking about how it's still in production.
Something John Wick was canceled.
And then probably Chapter 5. And and then we're also getting the spin-off with Ana de Armas.
Oh, yeah.
I'll see
about that.
Ballerina, yeah.
I'll see it.
Yeah, I know, right? Already sold. Which apparently Keanu Reeves makes an appearance in. That has already been filmed.
Isn't she dead?
No, so she wasn't actually in the movie. She is taking over a character that was in Chapter 3. And I don't know if something happened to that actress or if they just wanted someone maybe stronger to carry a whole series on. But it was
so I haven't seen 2 and 3, but I saw 1. And there was a woman assassin who I thought was Darmus.
No.
Anyway, isn't she killed at near the end of the movie?
So that was not her. That was old.
That was not her. That was not her assassin character. Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
So no, I mean, it's a character from Chapter 3 who was part of the Russian family that he is kicked out of and then rejoins in Chapter 4.
Okay.
But again, it wasn't played by Ana de Armas. It was played by someone else, and they recast to Ana de Armas for the series. But anyway, the point is, we say all of that to say, there's so many other things you could do with this universe. And apparently, when they first edited Chapter 4, it was 4 hours long. And the hour that they cut out of it was just a lot of the world building stuff. So clearly they have ideas of what they want to do. And I hope that we get to keep seeing movies set in this universe.
Yeah, very much.
I could enjoy the director's cut of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
I could like
even more death.
Well, the story building, the story building part, the world building.
No, I do want to give Jason the shout out. This is not his typical movie. He does not like to see just violence, but it's sounding like you had an okay time. So I want to get into scores, and I want to kick it off with Jason. Jason.
Well, so my experience, though, was colored by some guy in the row ahead of me who kept turning on his freaking phone.
There was multiple kids in our showing, I went with Christian.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Kids?
They were like
Why?
3-year-olds, 4-year-olds in this movie, like
Crying.
What are you guys doing as parents?
So mine, I was sat next to two incredibly old people, like in their 70s and 80s, who had to keep telling each other what was happening.
Oh, Lord.
People are dying.
Well, so you also knew what was going on too, then.
Yes.
Yeah.
At no point was I lost.
Okay.
Thanks to
This is
Ethel and
important,
George. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to lean forward like 2 or 3 times. I was like, "Sir, it's really bright." And finally, his son sitting next to him, his little like 10-year-old son, was like, "Dad, stop!" Like, yes, got the kid on my side. But after that, I finally got to enjoy it about 30 minutes in. Yeah, I had a good time. It's not really my type of movie. It was purely one of those movies. It's a shoot 'em up movie, which had some really beautiful set pieces and some really amazing stunt sequences. Keanu Reeves is a freaking beast, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm wondering about his endurance. Like some of these scenes were, a minute long, and he's full on fighting, like one takes, and he's just going, and it's him. So it was impressive. I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
I'll give it a 4. Yeah.
I'll go next because I'm going to keep that trend going. I don't think this was one of the best action movies of all time, like a lot of people are calling it. But it was also very good. Also, it didn't hit as hard for me as like the original John Wick movie did, or even number 2. But I still had a very good time. So I'm going to give it a 4 as well. Like, it was still really solid. I just don't think it was as special for me as previous John Wick movies have been. So 4 out of 5. Christian.
I can't believe we didn't bring this up, but Skarsgård, excellent villain.
Old Bill.
That was
He was. You're right.
Yeah, that
He
was Pennyworth.
I can't keep up with the Skarsgårds. There's too
Really?
many.
He has a very distinct look to him. But yeah, like I love action movies. My mom made me watch. Well, not made me. I mean,
You gotta sit down and watch this violence.
She always has violence on the TV, and that's her shtick, and it's kind of mine too. But yeah, like, it's not the greatest action movie Keanu's done, or I've seen before. But I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. Maybe 4.
Thank you. And then Josh, bring us home.
It was everything I wanted it to be. And again, it was the 4th entry in a shoot 'em up franchise.
Yeah.
And I was still stoked to go see it.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah.
That is a 5 out of 5.
All right.
5 words.
5 dragon breath shells out of 5.
Hey.
Weren't those cool?
Yeah. All right. So that brings us to a 4.25 out of 5. Obviously a very good movie, especially if you like action movies or Keanu or death.
All right. And to keep it rolling, Jason and I, the resident trekkers, will keep our keep our season 3 going of Star Trek Picard.
This is a surprise. This was not in our intro that we were going to be talking about this because I kind of forgot. So, yay!
Jason was just kind of like, "Did you watch it?" And I was like, "Yeah, did you watch it?" And he was like, "Yeah." So
yeah, yay! We can talk about it.
So this ends up with Picard and the crew going to the Daystrom Institute to try to figure out what the heck those dirty changelings stole. And I got to say, this is the most Star Trek-y that this show has felt so far.
This is most Next Generation-y.
Yeah, that might be a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
But like it was fun. It was a fun episode. And I mean, I'm not going to, again, spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched, Data. We got Data back, which the teaser trailers told us we were going to get lore. And so I knew that we were going to get Brent Spiner at some point. I did not expect that we would get Data back. And so that to me made the episode perfect. And especially the way they introduced him as the AI that's protecting the Institute. And again, I know it's not just Data, but the point is that that's leading into interactions that I didn't think we would get to have again, especially since the last time it was really only him and Picard. Like we,
right? Because the issue was they couldn't. They put the three personalities into the golem of Data, Lore, and B4, and there's an issue in the programming reconciling the three personalities.
Correct. They're all partitioned,
right?
But there doesn't seem to be a clear, like the operating system randomly chooses which file set to use, which now, I'm sure will lead to hijinks.
Oh, yeah.
But
or shenanigans. What did you think of Brent Spiner's performance as he switched between the three?
I mean, he's always good. Scene. He's one of those that, and I think we could say this in general for most of the people who participate in Star Trek. He's better than the show is. And like in the same way that, frankly, Patrick Stewart is better than the show. You know what I mean? Like they've made a tradition of getting actors who are frankly too good for what they're doing, but that's what makes it so awesome. And so no, I like that he got to flex that a little bit.
Yeah.
And
it was impressive.
And we even got to see him as Noonien Singh a little bit again.
We did. That's right.
And so no, that's neat when you consider that Brent Spiner has gotten to play like 4 or 5 different characters all within the span of 5 seconds. Like that's pretty neat. And that's pretty cool. And he did it flawlessly.
Yeah, so quick recap. Picard and the Titan, they go to the Daystrom Institute, which is now a fleet museum, right?
Daystrom, no.
Daystrom
Institute is
where they're holding all. Okay, the Daystrom Institute is a different place.
Yeah, then they go to the Fleet Museum. Yeah,
right. Then Picard goes to the Fleet Museum where
they bump into Geordi.
Geordi is with his daughter, with his second daughter.
I love how nerdy.
With the favorite daughter, clearly.
With the favorite, daughter.
The one that's not in the doghouse.
Right.
Which I do like that they kind of resolved that by the end.
Which was very Next Generation-ish.
It was. That's again one of the things that made it feel so Star Trek-y. Like it was a happy little ending to an arc that didn't start before this episode. So like,
right.
It was one episode of drama and that was it. Old Riker got captured right there at the end.
He did.
And we got to see Marina Sirtis back as old Deanna.
Troy.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a hostage.
Yes.
Was it Vatic? And the Shrike?
Is that how we're saying it? Yes. I don't know.
Vatic is the weird changeling captain on the very predatory looking Shrike ship.
What else? There was something else that I gave to. Oh, Moriarty.
Right.
They brought back Moriarty. And that was good. Yeah. That was fun.
That was a cameo. The way that they, in the trailers, I thought he was going to be a bigger character. Maybe he is still, but I
mean,
that's all right.
Yeah, like if that's all it is, I'm still okay with it because they made it significant. Like it doesn't have to be super long if there's meaning behind it. And the fact that is how Data chose to interact with Riker once he realized that's who it was, that's pretty cool.
And this introduction of this cameo is another one of those instances where if you knew Star Trek: The Next Generation, it would have more of an effect because Moriarty was a holographic character in the holodeck that was in 2 significant episodes of Star Trek. One was where Data or Geordi accidentally asked the holodeck for a Sherlock Holmes villain that could beat Data, not Sherlock Holmes, but Data. And so it designed Moriarty as a super villain who even Data was having a hard time defeating in the episode. And then Moriarty developed a consciousness in another episode, and they were dealing with the concept. It was a philosophical episode about the concept of existence and what does it mean to be sentient. And so for him to show up in the Daystrom Institute was kind of a nice throwback to those episodes.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, like it was the most Next Generation-y episode so far. And if they can keep that rolling through the end of the season, it's going to be a very, very, very good way to wrap this show up. So,
this episode was certainly more comfort food like than the other episodes. It was definitely comfort show.
Yeah. But it never felt watered down. Yeah. Like, I never felt like the stakes were lowered. I never felt like it was just tons of member berries. Remember this?
Yep.
Remember Moriarty?
Sweet nostalgia.
Yep. Remember Data?
I don't think I like that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just...
All right, it sounds like you guys are wrapping it up. So let's go.
I guess we are. Thank you, Corey.
Hey, you're the one with the time crunch. I'm trying to help you out. I mean, but go ahead and use this as some time to put in final thoughts. So let's score it. So Josh, through the first, I think it was 5 episodes, you had been scoring it a 4. Jason at 3.5. So after 6 episodes now, how do you guys feel?
I'm not ready to bump it up. I'm going to leave it at a 4, but it is a 4 heading towards a 5.
Okay.
For what?
He said it so angry. For what?
Four stolen cloaking devices out of 5.
Nice.
I just Harry Potter.
I don't get that reference.
Cloaking device, not cloaking cloak. See, again, you would have to know.
Yeah,
that was a reference to Star Trek 4.
If you know, you know.
You had to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to give this one a 3.75.
So is that bumping up?
It's working its way up.
So we're doing the entire series as a whole, is it? So you're bumping up the entire thing?
Yeah, the entire series is 3.75.
3.7.
Yeah. It's working its way up.
All right. So that's putting you guys at a 3.88 out of 5 so far after 6 episodes of the final season of Picard.
Pickard. Jean-Luc Pickard.
No.
There's John Luck Pickard here.
All right. So we're wrapping this up. Our first episode on video on youtube.com/@eatsleepnerd. We will continue the audio only podcast if you're not wanting to watch us. And you know what? I wouldn't blame you.
I mean,
I'd blame you.
I'd blame you, but I'd get it.
Oh. And at the end of this episode, we're realizing we had some technical issues in the middle, but hopefully I can disguise them as much as possible. But we will get better.
Corey, you're going to do awesome. It's going to look amazing.
I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I'm going to try.
Corey's been sending us little snippets of all the animations and graphics he's been doing. It's going to look pretty awesome.
It's going to be sick.
I'm going to have so much fun doing this. It's going to be over the top for no reason. It's
like a John Wick movie.
Because we're over the top. Right. We're going to John Wick this.
All right. On next week's 1-year anniversary of the Eat Sleep Nerd podcast, episode number 51, we will be discussing the new Dungeons and Dragons movie. Yes! Jason, I don't know if we've discussed this yet, but we're watching that this week. So
we have not.
Figure it out.
I have it on my agenda.
I am so excited.
Yes, this is going to be a good one. I'm very excited about this movie.
I'm just ready for to see Chris Pine again.
Yeah,
it's been way too long.
It's been way too long. I think it was Wonder Woman 2 the last time I saw him. He's done other things, but that's the last time I've seen him.
Wasn't he in that weird commune movie?
Yes.
Yeah, Don't Worry, Darling.
Don't
Worry, Darling.
Yeah.
That one,
I didn't watch it.
I watched it.
Oh, really?
It was decent.
Oh, okay.
It was something.
All right. Well, stay tuned, and please don't forget to follow us on social media. If you're on YouTube, all of our social media accounts are at the lower third of the screen.
Right.
So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and obviously on YouTube. All those are at Eat Sleep Nerd, except for on Twitter, which is at Eat Sleep Nerds.
And once you find those, you can share. You can share with
others. Share,
right?
Share it all.
Just do that. Now that we're all video. I mean, maybe you don't want to share. I don't know. I still recommend it.
Yeah.
If your parents didn't tell you to share as a child, you can make up for it.
There you go.
Right. This is the time. This is the place. This is the video.
All right, Jason, you get the honor.
Yay, the first
time on video. What should nerds be doing this week?
They should, in this order, eat, sleep, nerd.
Take it easy, people.